What's up, everybody? Welcome to the John Browner Podcast. I'm your host, John Browner. I am here today to bring to you the sports and other stuff. It's a lot of content today. It's a lot of content today. It's a lot of stuff that is happening like literally right now, which I always love. But it's not big enough of a story for me to really get into it. Like like James Harden's getting a new 3-year deal. Like, that's not something that, this audience particularly cares about. So that's not something that I'll really get into. But there has been a couple of things that happened this morning that I want to get into. But before I talk about those things, I want to tell everybody, if you want to reach the show, it's very easy. All you got to do is head over to the John Browner Podcast at gmail.com if you want to speak to me long form or launch a complaint. Like I said, I will read the complaint. I may not voice the complaint, but I'll read it because I'm the HR and other things. In addition to that, as always, I want you to know, let's continue to help the show grow. Like the show, share the show, but most importantly, subscribe to the show, the John Browner Podcast on YouTube. Help us get to 500. We are on the road to 500. So if you're new to the show, I should probably start doing this in the middle of the show and then at the beginning of the show, because people come in and out of the show. And normally the people who are here right now, they have already subscribed to the show. So I appreciate y'all and I thank y'all. So we'll start, doing this after every story and we'll see if they can pick up. But yes, if you're new to the show, subscribe to the show. We're here Monday through Friday from 10 to 11, regardless of what else is out there. You can see the show on Facebook, on YouTube, Twitch, Kick, and X. There's something out there called Buzzer. The show may be coming to you via Buzzer, as well as I continue to grow the show. And I also continue to branch out with the Sporting Tribune, which is the company now I currently am partnering with to try to bring you more sports from a view that you may not have seen before. So we're cooking up a lot of good stuff, and I can't wait for you guys to see it. I think one of our new rollouts will come this Saturday. I'm also the host of the Sporting Tribune Tonight, me and Grant Mona. I want you guys to start checking that out. So yeah, I'm bringing a lot. I'm bringing a lot. A lot's happening. Things are picking up, and I couldn't have done any of that without you guys. So shout out to the chat pack for keeping your boy out here. So shout out, man. Shout out, boy. Shout out, my boy. Shout out to the chat pack, man. Y'all made this thing possible so that I can start, catching on with other people. So I appreciate that. I love y'all. Y'all know y'all co-hosting this thing. Y'all the information department. Y'all the pronunciation department. All that. Y'all got my back. I got y'all back. So I appreciate that 100%. Now, as we continue to get this thing rolling, I want to ask a question. Nope, that's not it. Let's start here. Have you guys seen what's happening with the NCAA? So I want to start here because college football, college athletics in general, to me, in my opinion, has always been a ruse until lately. College athletics, specifically football and basketball, because the national championship and the NCAA tournament have always been something that we should have questioned from the very beginning as to how the value of these players who are making millions of dollars for the university are only getting scholarships. Why it was illegal to pay for a kid's parents to come watch him play or her play. Why it was illegal to buy a recruit a ham sandwich. Why it was illegal to buy a kid a bus ticket. These are the things that literally got programs, wins vacated, got banners taken down. The fact that some booster bought Reggie Bush a house had nothing to do with anything. If a booster wants to buy somebody a house, that's their money. If you think that somehow changed the trajectory of Reggie Bush's career and his play on the field, I totally disagree with you. The University of USC made more money off Reggie Bush than Reggie Bush could have ever made off the university. And the fact that they tried to tarnish that man's entire time at USC because of a house is laughable when you look at what's happening with the NCAA right now. Every NCAA violation that took a jersey away, took a retired jersey out the stands, took a win off the board, all those things seem absolutely laughable now with NIL. And because now the players, as they should have always been, are now making money, weird things are starting to happen. So the latest weird thing, the latest ground-shaking thing to happen in college athletics is that now college football, by the way, starts in 9 days. 10 days from now, when the NFL makes its cut down to 53 roster members, any player cut from a NFL training camp who still has a year of eligibility left, according to a court, because you know this is bad when courts get involved, according to court papers, that player can then, after games have already been played, week 0, whatever that is, after games have already been played, that player can be cut by an NFL team and be picked up by a college football team. Let me repeat that one more time. Players cut from NFL training camps, if they had eligibility left, they could then be cut on the 29th and be playing in the NFL, in the NCAA on September 1st. They can play a whole nother season of college football and quite possibly be drafted again. Shout out to the chatbots in the building. I don't know how or when or why we are at this point with the NCAA, but I can't think of something more useless at this point in time. I was never for the Big Ten and the SEC completely, getting together and just dismissing everything else NCAA related until now. I don't really understand how collegiate athletes, like the University of Michigan, was still making money off of Chris Webber and the Fab Five while their wins were vacated. The NCAA was making money off of Reggie Bush after his wins were vacated. The Ohio State Buckeyes were still making money off of Terrell Pryor while their wins were vacated. The NCAA as an organization is one of the most corrupt actions in the history of sports that we have had that has gone on far too long. Listen, I'm not for guys going to the NFL, being cut, and then going back into college football. Because what that means is now when they come in, somebody has to go out. So now you're going to lose a scholarship player who's now signed on the dotted line to play at this university. He's committed to them. Again, this is supposed to be amateur athleticism. This is supposed to be student athletes. There's a guy playing for South Carolina named Lenoris Sanders. I think that's his name. Sellers. Yeah, Lenoris Sellers. He has no classes. He's a quarterback who will be taken in the first round, who played for the South Carolina Gamecocks, but he ain't got no classes. Matt Leinart once famously had a class called Ballroom Dancing his 5th year for USC. And this is after he had won a Heisman. In the NCAA, the easiest way to fix this, the easiest way, regardless of circumstance, outside of extraordinary consequences like a car accident or a torn ACL or some form of like literal year missed injury in the NCAA at the highest level, after the age of 24, you cannot play any more college football. Because this is going to become a safety issue now. Because you've got 24, 25, 26-year-old guys in some instances playing against 18-year-old kids. In some cases, some of these football programs, these kids enroll early. You might have a 25-year-old practicing against a 17-year-old. That's abuse. Buddy could go to real jail for that. So I know college football has been the Wild West for a very, very, very long time. And it's only getting worse. I have never been a fan of not paying these kids. It makes absolutely no sense. And the fact that the universities, the fact that the NCAA has had 30, 40, let's call it, I'm 45, let's call it 60 years of televised football. The NCAA has had 60 years of relegating and regulating the sport of football and basketball to the tune of millions of dollars, now hundreds of millions of dollars. They should have some money to go around. What you mean? What you mean? To me, at the age of 24, you are done. Unless you've got a torn Achilles, a torn ACL, and you had to miss a year, I'll give you another year because of injury. Extraordinary circumstance. COVID messed a lot of this up. I totally understand. But we've got to balance this ship. We've got to right these waters. Because if you're telling me a guy cut from training camp, if a guy is cut from the Rams today, tomorrow, because he came out as a junior, he now can go back and get picked up and make maybe $1 million as a pass rusher for Alabama or Ohio State or Indiana or Oregon or Texas. Aren't we supposed to be protecting the kids? Isn't that the lie that they always tell you? Isn't the idea that the old school college, professor or person involved in these things, isn't the idea that they tell you that this is the student athlete? This is a young person who we're trying to mold and become a better person. How do you make that person a better person? By throwing their ass out on the street because this guy got cut from the Panthers and now he's available to come pass rush for you at Oklahoma. How does that make the kid you cut better? What about the commitment you made to him? The coaches don't have to stay. And now you're telling me because this guy who left our organization or left some team early to make money in the NFL found out that shit ain't sweet and he got cut and now he got to do the dredge of trying to make a practice squad, or you could just go back to Alabama and pass rush and make $1 million. Come on, man. What we doing? It's a real easy fix to this, man. Once your 24th birthday passes, the season of your 24th birthday, that is your last season of college athletics. Everybody don't make it. Everybody don't make it. Everybody not going to make it to the NFL. Everybody not going to make it to the upper echelon level of playing a sport. Everybody don't get paid in a professional level to play a sport. At 24, you're done. Like I said, most of these kids are on campuses at 17 years old. Some of these kids skip their high school proms to enroll to be ready for the season. So at 24, buddy, if you ain't done what you need to do, you ain't good enough. Sorry. At 24, if you enrolled in college at 18, which most of these people do, let's give you 19 just for kicks. If you ain't done what you need to do by the age of 24, it ain't for you, big dog. Especially in basketball. In basketball, if you ain't made it by the time you 24 to wherever you need to go in the NBA, it ain't for you, big fella. You might want to get back to the economics book. You might want to pick up a psych book, bruh. You might want to start studying engineering or something else. You might want to milk that scholarship. Michael Pennis, first one chimes in, not the first one chimes in, but the first comment I saw that made sense. High school kids get it the worst. And I totally agree, unless you are one of the best. And by the best, I mean top 50. If. Why would a coach not go with the grown ass man, adult? I 100% agree with you. I 100% agree with you. If I'm Deion Sanders, and at this point at Colorado, I'm under pressure, I'm not taking no high school kid. For what? Now I'm gonna gain more losses on his learning curve. Nah, bro, I need men in here now. I need transfers. If I'm whoever this coach is at Indiana, whose name I can't remember. If I'm the Indiana head coach, we just won a national title. I don't need a freshman quarterback in here. Nah, fam. Unless you Michael Vick level, unless you Peyton Manning, unless you Trevor Lawrence level, Joe Burrow, but Joe Burrow wasn't Joe Burrow until he got to to LSU. So this thing stinks, man. This is difficult for any time a court has to get involved to determine something. Like at first the NCAA announced this 5 for 5 thing. You have 5 years to play 5 years. But that even has undertones in it and loopholes that you can get around. If this is about kids playing football, if this is about higher education, why do we always have to deal with these level of things? If you can't get your education from 18 to 24 and go out in the real world, then that's why McDonald's exists. That's why Starbucks are out here left and right. That's why we got Popeyes. Sorry, there are other jobs that you can do that don't require you to play a professional sport. There are millions of other sources of employment for you to do in the real world if you cannot make it by the age of 24 in collegiate athletics. And my concern and my sole concern is for the 17 and 18-year-old who now their route to success in college athletics is all over the place. Now these kids got to go to JUCOs. Now these kids got to go to NAIA schools or D3 or D2. The route for kids to play sports has now become a hot potato. Or hopscotch or checkers. You got to go to a JUCO. Then you got to go to a D2. Then you got to go to a D3, or then you got to transfer. And then you got to go to a D1. And in that 1 year at the D1, you may not get what you want out of it. Now you got to go to another D1. You can play in college athletics for 4 years at 4 different programs. How does that help the athlete? How does that help the university? How does that help the development of the human? If every year you feel like you not wanted somewhere, how does that help your development as a person? How can a coach whose job it is to build a connection with you, because they're still selling that, right? How is it that a coach can build a rapport and relationship with you in 6 months, 7 months? Because by month 8, you got to go play for another team. Where we're at in college athletics, one side, I'm ecstatic that these kids are finally getting paid. I think it's well overdue. But on the other half of that, now they're treating these kids like true property, the way that they're behaving, because now they're saying, oh, well, they get paid. Oh, they get paid. They know the risk. So I saw that this morning. I read that article, and it just blew my mind. I don't watch college sports for that particular reason. I might watch like when Ohio State plays Texas in Texas. I'll watch that. I watch those games. I don't follow a particular university closely. I might watch some San Diego State football games every now and then. I might be one of the 50 people in the stadium. I might go and check out a USC game here and there. because of Reggie Bush and Matt Leinart and Lindell White and that whole thing. I might still check a USC game out because of that. But I'm not plugged in, and it's like that, and it's because of this. I rock with college basketball because those guys are gonna be playing in the NBA, and I need to see who's who. I watched damn near every Cooper Flag game last year. When Zion was playing, I watched damn near every Zion game. I watched almost every BYU game with AJ DeBonsa. I watched these games because I think that these players are going to come to the NBA, and I want to see them play. When it comes to college football, I don't know who plays for who. I know Arch Manning plays for Texas. I know Julian Sand plays for Ohio State, but Julian Sand started at Alabama or Georgia and ended up at Ohio State. I it's too hard. These guys are all over the place. And if in basketball, by the age of 24, if you're not developed enough in your game to go to the NBA, then it ain't for you. You can make money, you can have a living, you can have a life. You can go play overseas, you can travel. There's a lot of ways that you can still make money playing basketball, but y'all got to get out the way, man. Y'all got to get out the way for these younger kids to get an opportunity to show what they can do. You had 6 years. You had 6 years. By my rule, you still would have 6 years to play 4 years. Now they're giving you 5 years to play 5. What? So I saw that this morning and I wanted to start there because being a guy who played college basketball, being a guy who played JUCO basketball, being a guy who played high-level high school basketball, being a guy who played semi-pro basketball. I've collected a check playing basketball, not a big enough one, but I collected a couple of them for a couple seasons, and I can tell you, I've played against NBA basketball players in a CBA. I've played against former NBA basketball players in the ABA. Basketball's basketball, man. But if you don't give these kids an opportunity, most guys will wash out. That's too much that's too much changeover, man. Specifically in basketball. If in basketball you got to go to a different school every year to try to get, a bigger slice of the pie, NIL wise, I get that. Because now we talk about a limited sample size of money you can get. But if I'm talking about you going from, San Diego City College to San Diego State to UCLA to Duke, bro, how you going to build a relationship with the coach? How you going to build a relationship with the university? How you going to build a relationship with the curriculum that you need to take care of to get your degree? How you going to do all that if you in a different school every 8 months? So Excuses says you can pay $500 for a chance with Detroit. Yeah, you can. That's fair. That's fair. I respect that. Biggie says, I stream all day on Saturday, so I normally don't get a chance to watch college football, and I'm good with that. And I'll catch some college basketball games when I can, but I don't watch like I used to. Same, man. Same. So, with that said, as always, I'm trying something new. If you're new to the show, like and subscribe to the show on YouTube. We're trying to get to 500 subscribers. I'm John Browner. This is the John Browner Podcast. We do this thing every day, Monday through Friday from 10 to 11. We're available on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, X, and Kick. Shout out to the Kick bot who already showed up, trying to get me to type to them. I need you to go to YouTube, though, and subscribe. Go to YouTube and subscribe. And by the way, the NCAA, you're on Ass Island, buddy. You're on Ass Island, buddy. We'll get some dorms somewhere here. The NCAA, welcome to Ass Island, buddy. We'll get some dorms. We'll get some dorms for you. That's just like, what are we doing? Shout out to the bots, man. Bots be coming for me now. Bots be in here like, did you not check my email? chill, bro. I'm busy right now. Where we at? Let me see. What did I want to get to next? Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I like this topic. I like this topic a lot. Have you ever worked with a person you hate? You might be working with that person now. You might be sitting a couple cubicles away from them. You might be listening to this pod with your headphones on, 2 or 3 feet from somebody you absolutely hate. This is the idea that we have to work with people while also simultaneously not expressing how we truly feel about them is the high watermark of professionalism. Me personally, and certain things, I believe if you don't like a person, you can still do business with a person. I grew up around drug dealers who did not like their customers. But if you don't get this, here, you're going to get it up the street. So go ahead, come give me that money. It ain't personal, it's business. I learned that saying a long time ago. If it's not personal, it's business. I bring this up because Antonio Brown, AJ Brown got asked a question by Sal Paolantonio on ESPN yesterday about the Eagles playing the Patriots in team practices. And he asked him, what is your relationship like with your former teammates? And he said, it's awesome. I still talk to him. I still text with them. It's all love. It's nothing but love. It's nothing but love. I love all those guys over there. And then he said, and JALEN, and he said, and I quote, not him. And as small as that is, I wish Jalen Hurts had the wherewithal to also be like, yeah, not him either. But Jalen Hurts is so phony and so overly polished. You'll never get a comment out of him that's real. He is so Russell Wilson, it's disgusting. Like, I don't like the Dallas Cowboys. Dak Prescott has a lot of robotic answers, but Dak Prescott seems like a real person. Jalen Hurts seems like a poor carbon copy of Russell Wilson. It's all business. And the fact that he and A.J. Brown didn't get along, and no one could ever simply say, yeah, man, we just don't get along. We don't see eye to eye. That's all people ask for Jalen Hurts to say. Yeah, we had some rough patches. He's no longer with us. I wish him nothing but the best. But during his time with us, we just really didn't see eye to eye. He too polished to even say that. It's okay to not like somebody. We're not all gonna get along. The people who operate in a workspace with, they're not gonna become some lifelong friend. We have few friends that we had in high school because people change and people grow. For A.J. Brown to say, yeah, not him, it was so refreshing. He didn't diss him. He didn't call him out his name. He didn't say he can't throw. He didn't, none of that. He just said, I love all my old teammates. I get along with all those guys. I talk to some of them now. And then Jalen, not him. That's it. That's all. That's it. That's all. And because he said not him, I want to play a game with y'all today. I want to do a 5 years from now, him or not him. Tonight, the Las Vegas Raiders are playing the Houston Texans, and the Chargers are playing the San Francisco 49ers. I have a question for you. Over the next 5 years, him or not him? Fernando Mendoza or C.J. Stroud? Him or not him? Brock Purdy or Justin Herbert? Him or not him? Very simple game. And I'm gonna give you my opinion first before I read some of yours. When we're talking about the Raiders, if you're asking me Fernando Mendoza or CJ Stroud, him, not him. My him is Fernando Mendoza. My not him is CJ Stroud. The regression on what has happened to CJ Stroud should be studied in college. There should be courses now done on the regression of CJ Stroud. There is more to Fernando Mendoza, whether it be size, whether it be acumen, whether it be history of success. I got to tell you, I am 100% behind Fernando Mendoza and the Raiders. Now, if we're talking about team success, I believe the Texans will be far more successful than the Raiders this year. But if you're asking me who would I rather have for the next 5 years, I would rather, when it comes to CJ Stroud and Fernando Mendoza, I'd rather have Fernando Mendoza, and I haven't seen him throw a pass that counts in the NFL. What I have seen from him shows me that the organization is going in the right direction. CJ Stroud's success initially was solely based on an unbelievable run game and an unbelievable pass rush. Even to this day, CJ Stroud's majority team success has come because the defense literally gets the other team off the field. I think Fernando Mendoza with Ashton Jeanty and Brock Bowers, with Clint Kubiak, and a better offensive line, I think you're going to see the Raiders going in the right direction. And when you have a guy who can take you in the right direction, that's more than half the battle. The coach-quarterback combination is so essential in the NFL. I honestly think the Raiders have a great coach-quarterback combination. And when was the last time you could even say that about the Raiders? What, a Wrench Gannon? So as I watch what is happening in Las Vegas, and I watch what's happening in Houston, and you're asking me, him, not him, I'm 100% taking Fernando Mendoza before I take CJ Stroud. And CJ Stroud's track record should show you that he has shown he can do it versus Fernando Mendoza's absolutely clean slate of nothing. Nothing. Fernando Mendoza has done nothing in the NFL. CJ Stroud gave you the greatest rookie season in the history of the NFL and has multiple playoff wins. And I'm still taking Fernando Mendoza. Not because I don't like CJ Stroud as a person, just because I honestly think the regression on CJ Stroud is more about him being exposed more than it is about him being, struggling with other parts around him being injured. Guys getting injured around you, it only hurts you if you're not the guy. When guys are healthy everywhere, that's not real football. When guys are hurt everywhere and you can turn Danny Amendola into a star, Wes Welker into a star, when you can turn Danny Woodhead into a star, when you can turn these tiny guys who no one's ever heard of into superstars, you're the guy. If Fernando Mendoza, who does have talent, I would argue that the talent on the Raiders now may be better than the talent on the Houston Texans offensively, of course. Because I think Ashton Jeanty is better than David Montgomery. And I think Brock Bowers is better than any wide receiver or tight end that you have in Houston. So why not have the Raiders offensively look competent? Why not have I'm not saying that I'm not putting a bar at playoffs for the Raiders. I'm putting the bar at 6 or 7 wins. If the Raiders leave this season with 7 wins, as a Raider fan, you should be very proud. You had a good year if you started Fernando Mendoza and he's banked 7 wins for you. If at the end of the year, Fernando Mendoza has 7 wins under his belt in his first NFL campaign. You own to something. That's the number for me. If Fernando Mendoza gets you 7, not Kirk Cousins gave you 2, he gave you 5. If Fernando Mendoza has 7 wins at the end of the season, the Las Vegas Raiders are going to be good for the next decade. I honestly believe that. Fernando Mendoza's not tiny like Bryce Young. He doesn't have any quirks about him as a person. He's a little corny, but that's who he is. He's not Russell Wilson corny, where it's all scripted. He's not Jalen Hurts corny, where I'm so cool I can't even acknowledge certain things. He's corny in a sense that, bro, that's just who he is. Watching Fernando Mendoza talk, I don't want to have a beer with him. But I can appreciate and respect that that's who he is. I ain't trying to go to a strip club with Fernando Mendoza. But I can appreciate his character. He might want to play some Dungeons and Dragons with you before you want to go to a strip club. He might want to play you in some Fortnite before you go catch him parking lot pimping as we used to back in the day. And that's cool too. But when it comes to him, not him, I'm going Fernando Mendoza over CJ Stroud. Now, in tonight's game also, it's the Chargers versus the 49ers. And if you know anything about me, I'm a big Justin Herbert fan. He's him. I'm not even going to stress this out. He's him for me. Brock Purdy is a big old not him for me. For a lot of reasons. I am a 100% Justin Herbert guy. Justin Herbert has had nothing but, cheap owners, poorly ran facilities. He's never had an A1 receiver. Brock Purdy and all of Brock Purdy's success is solely based on Kyle Shanahan. All of Brock Purdy's success is from Kyle Shanahan. Every Niner fan knows this. Now, Kyle Shanahan took Jimmy Garoppolo to the Super Bowl. What has Jimmy Garoppolo done since then? Kyle Shanahan got Matt Ryan, a MVP award as the offensive coordinator for the Atlanta Falcons. Kyle Shanahan's track record of producing successful offenses and having the quarterbacks within those offenses become franchise quarterbacks is long documented. Justin Herbert got on the field because the lung of Tyrod Taylor got punctured an hour before a football game. And they looked at Justin Herbert and said, "Are you ready?" He said, "For what?" "Tyrod's down. He's not going in. You're up." "Oh, okay. Throw me that thing." Touchdown. Flying colors ever since. Because he's him. Can you name an all-pro receiver or tight end that the Chargers have given Justin Herbert? Even now, you look at the Chargers roster, which I think has a bunch of nobodies at the skill positions outside of David Njoku. David Njoku is the best receiver that the Chargers have had under the tenure of Justin Herbert. Keenan Allen was past his prime, so don't start typing Keenan Allen, okay? I love Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen had a great career, but Keenan Allen's prime was far past him when Justin Herbert started taking snaps under center. Jimmy Garoppolo's success came from Kyle Shanahan. He flopped everywhere else. Brock Purdy's success. Now, again, don't get me wrong. Brock Purdy's ability to digest the offense see what's happening on the field, and deliver deserves to be respected. I'm not disrespecting that. But if you put Justin Herbert and the Kyle Shanahan offense, if you put Justin Herbert under the center for the San Francisco 49ers, I don't care who gets hurt. Every year, Super Bowl. Every year, Super Bowl. If Kyle Shanahan can't help you, nobody can. This is why I don't think Trey Lance will be the backup quarterback for your Chargers. I think DJ, name I can't pronounce. That's your second. That's your backup. That's your backup. Trey Lance, buddy, Dallas, San Francisco. You going on a merry-go-round now. I think DJ, last name I can't pronounce, that's your backup. I'm expecting to see a lot out of him tonight. I'm expecting to see a whole lot out of him. I'm expecting for DJ to solidify that job tonight. After tonight, I don't think you're going to see much more of Trey Lance in a Charger uniform. I just don't. I really don't. But if we're talking about starters, I'm sorry, man. Y'all got to forgive me. Y'all got to forgive me. I'd rather have Justin Herbert before I have Brock Purdy under every column. Every column. But those are the only two games we got tonight. ESPN's got the Vegas and the Texans game. I don't expect for you to see CJ Stroud much at all. And they got Texans lost. Who is it? Let me see. Texans lost wideout Jaden Higgins. They lost Jaden Higgins to a torn ACL today or yesterday. So, it keeps getting worse. Biggie says, the Bears wanted Jimmy G, and boy, I'm glad they didn't get him. What they wanted because he's from the Chicago area. No, they also wanted Tony Romo at one point in time. I'm glad they didn't get his ass either. I remember when they were fiending over Jimmy G. But the Bears make bad quarterback decisions, and that would have been another one in a long list of who? And if the Chicago Bears at that time would have gotten Jimmy G, a guy who's been to the Super Bowl, buddy, they'd have laid cover fire for Jimmy G for ages. If the Bears would have somehow found a way to get Jimmy Garoppolo in a Bears helmet, being from the area, man, listen, they'd still be covering for him today. They'd still be people in the Chicago fan base going, we should have never gotten rid of Jimmy Garoppolo. I promise you. David P says, yo, your arm's sour from that crazy reach of a take on my guy. Big, I'm assuming this is Big Cock Brock. It's not a good look. I'm talking about another man's chicken, if you know what I mean. Don't do that to him. Listen, David P. Listen, man. Listen, bruh. All I'm saying is, if you're going to tell me you would rather have Brock Purdy over Justin Herbert on the 49ers, not like, the Chargers, who's better? I'm asking you, David P. 3254. You're telling me you would rather have Brock Purdy playing quarterback for the 49ers instead of Justin Herbert. And this is all hypothetical because I don't think either of these things are ever going to happen. But if you could get Justin Herbert on the 49ers in replace of Brock Purdy, you wouldn't do that? Come on. Come on, man. Come on. Don't be that guy. Don't be that guy. Come on. I'll wait for your reply on that. Because you sound crazy, bro. There was another fight, by the way. There was another fight. And I think Broncos camp had a fight where Bo Nix and Nick Bonito got into it. because Bo Nix pulled Nick Bonito's leg to get him off the pile. And let me tell you something right now. And I talked about this yesterday, if you're not prepared to fight, do not get involved. If you are ever in a pile at a practice and somebody pulls your leg, I'm whooping your ass. I don't care what position you play. If you're the quarterback and a dog pile is happening, boy, get back. Keep your hands to yourself. Because if you pull my leg, I'm turning and I'm swinging. You get David P. That's a lame question, but sure, I'd take Herbolt in the unrealistic scenario. That's all I'm saying, dog. That's all I'm saying. You can call the question lame because, as you said, haters gonna hate. Hey, these are your words. These are your words. You can tell me it's a lame question. That's okay. Haters gonna hate, dog, because you helped me prove my point. Yeah, no, listen, David P. I don't want to hear none of that. I don't want to hear, and I don't want to. David P. says, and because I directed a question at him, this is why I'm sharing so much of David's comments. He says, "You're comparing Herbolt to the last pick, bruh." No, I'm not. I'm comparing Herbolt to someone who is getting MVP consideration. I don't care where you got picked. I really don't. He's the starting quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers. I don't care where he got picked. Where you get picked is irrelevant. What you do where you get picked is everything. Brock Purdy has taken 100% advantage of being a member of the San Francisco 49ers. And that's far more important as to where you got picked. On the field, he has been absolutely productive. So where he got picked, that's cool for the story. But when it comes to the production at this point in his career, it doesn't matter. Shout out to AMAC checking in on X. Herbert all day. Yeah. I think everybody would say that. We are all in agreement, AMAC. Even David P. agrees in our, as he likes to say, let me see. As he calls it, no, hold on. In my in my lame question, in an unrealistic scenario, he even agrees. So that's all, man. That's all. But David P., you're him. It's Brock Purdy. You're not him. It's Justin Herbert. And I hear you, dog. It's cool. It's cool. It's cool, big fella. It's cool. If you're new to the show, as always, after each segment, I'm going to start doing this because I want to try to get to 500 a little bit quicker. We're doing the speed limit, but, you know, I drive 10 miles over the speed limit when I'm on the freeway. You should probably help me get to 500 by going a little bit faster on the road, too. Tell a friend to subscribe to the John Browner Podcast on YouTube. Help your boy get to 500. Like I said, I'm trying to continue to say that because I'm hoping that it'll help. Shout out to all my people at the Sporting Tribune. Catch me tonight on the Sporting Tribune tonight. We're getting ready to take that thing on television. So shout out to everybody at the Sporting Tribune, Grant Mona, Arash Merkazi, and all the people involved in making that happen. So your boy about to be on the tube again. Also, and one more thing, I'm doing a comedy show for charity, and I want to start really promoting that because I want you guys to see the charity and give what you can if you can't make it. Let's go. Let's okay. Now, sometimes look at that. WVC, you came right on time. So here's the thing. I said this before they played the 10-10 game in New York. I think the game started at 10-10. I said this before then. I will say this repeatedly all the time. In some sports, the schedule hands you a loss. This isn't complicated. This isn't hard. The Padres got handed a loss yesterday because of the schedule. They were not going to win that game. They were not going to win that game. That was the first time the Padres have dropped a series The Padres, up until that point, had won, I think it was 7 straight series. 7. 7. The Padres had won 7 straight series up until that point. And when you're playing at 10-10, you're a West Coast team, you're flying East Coast, and on the travel day, they give you a game at 10-10. You're going to lose that game. I don't care who you are. And unless the pitcher throws a no-hitter, buddy, your ass is cooked on a 10-10 start time. If you are on a 10-10 start time, your ass is good as grass, buddy. You're cut. You're cooked. Michael King did what he could, 2 runs. It's too hard. It's too hard, man. Estrada gave up 2. King gave up 2. That's the ball game. Manny struck out 3 times. Cronenworth struck out 2 times. Everything that's been going right, Merrill struck out 2 times. 12 strikeouts in total for the team. Yeah, come on, man. I ain't finna make no big deal about yesterday's loss. I thought that they should have won the series against the Mets, and they would have if the Padres would have won the series against the Mets. If the game 1, you don't throw away 2 runs at the plate because, I don't know, you want to test people's arms. Because you're the third base coach and you don't watch film, apparently. You don't read the scouting reports, or you don't trust your eyes. You wanted to send the second runner who's slower than the first runner who got gunned out at the plate. You want to send the next guy to what? Prove a point? To what? Make him do it again with a slower runner? Come on, man. The Padres gave away that first game. Tatis won that second game in MVP level fashion. And I told y'all, I think it was 5 days ago when I saw they played at 10-10. That's a loss. Get out of here. That's a loss, man. I saw that game coming a mile away. That would have been a tough game for anybody to win. They come home tonight. They got the Twins in the building. They got the Twins in Petco tonight. 6:40 start. Vasquez against, I couldn't even tell you what this guy's name was. Yikes, buddy. Who are you? Let me see. Hold on. Let me try to get this guy. Connor Prilip. But he's got a 5-run ERA. He's got 85 hits and 94 strikeouts. He's given up 12 home runs. They're 63 and 65. So I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried about that loss at all. That's what they call a scheduling loss. That's when you get these NBA games where you've played, I think it's 3 games in 4 nights. And in 4 nights, you've been in 3 different cities. You've had multiple 4 a.m. Landings. You've arrived in said city at 4 a.m. 2 to 3 times in a row. It's a wrap for that, buddy. You're going to lose that game. Same is true of it in baseball. You're going to lose that game, buddy. Sorry. So, yeah. There's not a lot to talk about. 12 strikeouts as a team yesterday. The Padres, they've won 7 straight series up until they lost against the Mets. And again, I think they win this series too if they don't throw 2 runs out at the plate. If the third base coach ain't a windmill, I think you win that series too. You make it 8. So, but tonight's key. Padres, Twins tonight. I'm expecting a good outing. Get on the board quick. Randy Vasquez has been solid, not great, but he's been solid for the Padres this year. I'm expecting the Padres to win this one tonight. I'm expecting them to get back to their winning ways. Biggie says, as I've said before, it's not who you play, it's when you play them. A month ago, they easily sweep the Mets, but right now the Mets are playing their best baseball without Soto. Bruh, Biggie, if they don't throw out 2 runners in the first inning of the first game, the Padres win that series too, no matter how good the Mets are playing. The Mets never ran away with any of these games. These were all low-scoring games. These were all well-pitched games. But you can't throw away 2 runs at the plate. You just can't do that. Shout out to Raiders versus everyone. Holla at your boy. I hope you're excited about Fernando Mendoza tonight. I think he's gonna throw. I got Fernando Mendoza prize pick for more than I think 100 yards. I can't remember what the number is, but Tito says, "Let's freaking go!" Sweetwater Valley and Tijuana Little League teams are in Williamsport today. 619-664 represent. Shout out, man. San Diego always seems to get a team in the Little League World Series. So shout out to them, man. WVC says Manny can't keep getting double plays. Yes, he can. where you been all season? This wire is driving me crazy right now. I bet you Manny can't keep getting double plays. Where you been? If it ain't some flailing strikeout, he been good lately. But shit. As Buddy from The Wire says, shit. Yes, he can. Like I said, it's not really much to dwell on. Not much to kick around about the Padre game, and I kind of felt like that loss was baked in. I told y'all days before that loss was going to happen. That 10-10 game was never going to help anybody but the Mets. Let me see. And one more thing. I can't remember who touched on this, but somebody touched on this earlier. The NFL Sunday Ticket, it belongs to YouTube now. And if you didn't catch it for $29 a month, I think they were giving it away at $29 a month at one point. I think it was like a month ago, maybe in July. It was on an early sale. If you didn't get it then, it's $400. Do they not know what's happening in the real world? Can somebody call someone they know at YouTube TV and tell them the price of things at the grocery store will price me out of the NFL Sunday Ticket? If you're going to tell me I can't pass my password around the team, if you're going to tell me you can't share your password with someone that doesn't live in your household or on your Wi-Fi network, but you're going to charge me $400 for something, I'm out this season, buddy. I mean, I'm not out, but I would be if I didn't have to do it for a living. I watch Bears games, religiously, sometimes with one eye open. You know how long I've been waiting for Caleb Williams and a productive quarterback coach combo? On top of them moving to Indiana, now you telling me that I'm going to have to pay $400 for YouTube TV to be able to watch the Chicago Bears out of market? Well, I've got y'all beat. Because finally, Chicago Bears are good at football. So the Bears got a multitude of Monday night, Thursday night, Sunday night games this year. And when they're not playing in those games, buddy, I'm going to go to this local bar, that's a Bears bar, and I'm going to drink me 2 Coors Lights, one each half, and it's going to cost me $12. If you're not going to allow me as a consumer to purchase one individual game at a respectable price, I'm not doing it with you. I don't want to watch a bunch of games. The local games that I need to watch are the Rams and the Chargers. If I get a Raider game here and there, awesome. Which you tend to get a Raider game here and there in San Diego, awesome. But if I want to watch a team that's out of my market, like let's say the Chicago Bears, why don't you just offer me the option of being able to do that? Why can't I just buy a game for $12, $15? Make it $15. I mean, I guess if I do the math, $15 a game, and 17 game. What 15 times 17? 15 times 7. Hey, Siri, what's 15 times 17?
15 times 17.
$255. $255. That should be the price of the out-of-market charge. I give you that. I give you $255. Everything is more expensive. Everything is more expensive. And if you're YouTube, at some point, what at one of these conglomerates, one of these massive, TV properties, or one of these businesses, they're gonna get wise and go, wait, nobody has money. Let's just make everything cheap for 6 months and see if everybody just starts shopping here. See if everybody starts buying here. Because that's how YouTube TV got popular. It was $19 at one point. And by the way, I was watching the same shit now that I was watching when it was $19 and now it's $89. That's before I put the League Pass in there. And that's before I put NFL Sunday Ticket in there. Well, NBA League Pass is now on Amazon. The shit's everywhere. But before any of that, I watched the same 4 or 5 channels that I watched when it was $19. Now that is $89. The greed is gross. The greed is utterly disgusting. And they should be ashamed of themselves, but they won't because it's business and the goal is to make more. YouTube TV. For the price that you're charging me to watch NFL Sunday Ticket, Ass Island, buddy. You're officially the Ass Island Television Network. YouTube TV. Welcome to the island. Like I said, man, subscribe to the show. I appreciate all y'all for showing up. Today's been fun. Today's always fun. Tomorrow will be fun. Because that's what we do here. We have fun. I got to get back to business of things. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Much love. Peace.
Subscribe to the John Browner podcast on YouTube and download the podcast on iTunes. I know I don't look like him. Just go subscribe.